Okay, so here we are with Doug, and we have his sister Penny over here working on her downstay while we work with Doug, and we're going to evaluate and see if having Penny around is too much distraction for Doug. Because again, usually in the beginning, we want to be working with the dog alone. But we'll see how he does. Good boy. Good boy. So, he previously, well, he's still wearing it, but unfortunately it's too small. We're going to need to cut it off. He has a Premier collar on, but it's a petite from when he was really little. So, I mean, I can still get my fingers all the way underneath it, but we can't get it over his head. So, to get it off. So, we're going to need to cut it off. But I did go ahead and put him on a star mark, and we have his leather leash here. So, I think the star mark's going to be a good tool for him. Good boy. Just based on, he was pulling a ton on the martingale and on the rope lead also. So I want to go ahead and switch it up and put him on the star mark here. So I'm just kind of evaluating a little bit just to kind of see, you can see he's like not focused. He's, you know, kind of doing his own thing. He'll pull just a little bit. He does kind of come back to me here and there, right? But he's not leash trained yet, right? He's not leash trained. He doesn't have the skills yet. So let's go ahead and start from the beginning here a little bit. Again, even this, okay? So I haven't even presented the food yet. It's still here, and you know, he's trying to come into it. So we're gonna go ahead and work on just the same thing we were working on with Luca a little bit ago, okay? So we'll just have the food here and sort of start working on some of this impulse control, and good. We'll start to reward him for leaving the food, okay? So present food, little tug on the leash when he comes forward. Yes. When he stops trying to go forward, give him the food. Okay. Good, good, good. So already a different response than Luca, where Luca was biting the leash, trying to bite my hand, pawing, barking, whining, getting really frustrated. Boy. Doug here, he's like, oh, okay, cool. I won't try to get the food, right? He doesn't become demanding. He doesn't get upset. So a little bit more of a passive character here, okay? Whereas again with Luca, stronger character. Good, really good, okay? Good boy, good. So again, you know, it's not like, I'm not requiring him to sit for the food. I just don't want him to impulsively try to snatch it out of my hand, right? So as he's patient, we'll feed him. Good girl, stay Penny. So, a lot of foundation work here, okay? Very, very important here that we're working on this patience and the self-control, teaching him some limitations that if we do tell him not to try to snatch the food, that he doesn't continue to try, okay? And we'll implement the same thing, like right there. One of the pieces fell, and we're gonna be implementing the same thing, right? Same thing here, same thing. So, whether it be in the hand or whether it falls, it's the same idea here, okay? So we'll bring him forward here. We'll drop one. Give a couple jabs, okay? Good. When he doesn't try to get it, we'll go ahead and reward him with another one, right? So we always show this exercise here where we'll drop one. Good. And then we'll reward with another, okay? So again, that's just sometimes that you might just drop the piece. You know, you might be trying to work on this from the hand. You drop a piece, the dog tries to snatch it. The understanding is the same, okay? Good boy. So one of the things that I want you to notice here is whenever I am if I have to use the leash and give him a signal to not go, I want to do that until he actually stops. And notice that I'm not pulling him away. I'm giving him a quick jab, a quick tug. And this is why we want to evaluate the correct collar for them to be on, okay? Because if we have to use our collar to let our dog know not to do something, well, I want it to be effective, right? I don't want to have to put so much pressure, Doug, and I don't want to have to do it too many times, okay? Yes, good boy. So when we're deciding on what collar to choose, it's based on the dog's response when we have to tell them not to do this. Okay, so I guess, someone had asked us previously a little while ago, hey, could you make a video on a collar, like when to choose a certain collar? And really, it comes down to the dog's response. So I had already, like I said, I had already seen that he's pulling on the martingale, he's pulling on the rope lead. When I would go to give him signals, he's not taking it. Okay, so, good boy, when you're evaluating your collar, it's gonna be based on, does the dog stop doing whatever you want, telling them to stop doing when you use your collar? Good boy, good boy. So we don't want to have to pull, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, okay? We don't want to have to give 7, 8, 9, 10 jabs there. We want to be able to give just a couple and the dog get it. Yes, good boy, good boy. So remember that we are giving feedback here with the leash and the collar, okay? We are giving essentially it's some negative feedback, right? When he impulsively pulls forward, we'll give him negative feedback. When he does it correctly, we'll give him positive feedback, okay? So it becomes very, very clear to him where he's like, oh, okay, don't go forward. But if I don't go forward, oh, I get rewarded. Very clear. Good boy. So obviously I've switched from sort of having it in the hand to putting it on the ground. Okay, but we'll kind of go back and forth here. Good boy, good boy. Present it. He doesn't move forward and reward. Good boy, good boy, good boy. And again, we're not really saying any words here. Okay, let the leash do the talking and let your reward do the talking also. You don't need, we don't need to say words here. We don't need to add anything. The dog doesn't really understand words yet until we pair a physical action to them. So we're just letting our action do the talking. So whether that be controlling his advancement and impulsiveness or physically rewarding him, right? He's getting the food. Yes, let that do the talking. Good boy. Good boy. Let's try the ground. Good boy. Good boy. So you can see he broke focus right away, right? So as soon as I put these on the ground, he stops looking at them, he looks at me, and then I can reward, right? So that's really good there. Where he's not manifesting over these ones that I put on the ground, right? He's already showing me and telling me that he's like, oh, okay, I know I can't get them. Right? The moment he breaks focus, that's telling me he understands, oh, I'm not going to go and grab them. He sort of gives in to the understanding, but that's also because I've built the understanding that if he doesn't grab those ones, I will give him some. Good boy. Good boy. Good girl, Penny. Good girl. More here. Good. So this is great. Penny's here, she's working on her downstay, he's working on this, they're working together, right? They're both on command. Well, she's on command, but I'm giving them both guidance. Good. Which starts to develop relationship. It's not like they don't have a relationship already, but having them work alongside with my direction will help to build that. Good boy, good boy. Good boy. Yeah, good boy. So again, I never give them these ones off of the ground, okay? Because then they'll be expecting it and they'll manifest over it. So I'll never give them those ones. meaning I won't pick it up and give it to him. I have him in my hand still, but I won't pick him up and give it to him. I'll sort of, again, go through the exercise again, yes, and then give. Good boy. And yes, in the beginning, we're down here with them, right? In the beginning here, I'm with them, I'm on the ground here, we're very close, okay? We're very close here. Eventually, we'll sort of be standing up here like you guys have seen before, where we'll drop one and then go ahead and reward just like that, right? So we'll start there and then we'll, yes, good boy. We'll kind of start to remove ourselves a little bit more, right? Yes, good boy, good boy, good boy. Good, so that was really good there. So sometimes, again, when I come down to pick these up, sometimes they kind of get impulsive again. They're like, oh, great, we're done. And I'm gonna go and grab those, and you just keep reinforcing with the leash the same way, okay? So we'll test that again. I don't really mind too much of this sort of getting distracted, sort of pulling away. Okay, we're still gonna be building things. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. So we're gonna keep building on that. Doug, Doug, good boy. But that was that first session on new collar, on leash, and working on his impulse control. And one thing we can sort of add in here is grabbing of that collar and feeding also, okay? So we will grab collar and then feed. Good, so letting him know we want to be able to grab your collar or reach for you, and he doesn't. Oh, unfortunately he got one there, one that I had missed, but we don't want him to pull away, freak out, roll over, try to mouth us when we go to try to reach for him. That's a good boy. Okay, so he'll grab collar, hold, 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 and then give. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, so grab collar, hold, and give. Good boy. Good boy. Oh, so we dropped a couple. So make sure that he's not going to snatch those ones. Good boy. Good boy. Good. So that'll be our first session right there with the new tools. And then we're going to keep building.